Welcome everybody to Fish. In today's video, I'm going to be going over every single enchant in Fish. You guys have been telling me what is the best enchant to get, and if I'm going to be honest with you, it does depend on what fishing rod you've got. So I'm literally going to be going over every single enchant, what the enchant does do, what rods you should use for specific enchant. This is pretty much an enchant guide video, going over all of the enchants in the game. If you want to know how to get enchant relics, I did do a separate video on that, but specifically I'm going to be going over all of the enchants in today's video. So right here guys, we have actually got the Sea King Enchant. The Sea King Enchant does increase any fish you get by 10%. So if you get a fish that is 1000 kg, with this enchant, it will add 10% on it, so you'll pretty much get 10% size extra to 1000 kg. So I'm pretty sure that's gonna be like 100 kg extra if you catch a 1000 kg fish, which is pretty good, not going to lie. But there's a lot more better enchants out there, so we now move on to Swift. The Swift enchant does reduce your lure time by 30%. The pros is that it does go well with the magnet rod, that's what it does say. If I'm going to be honest with you, the Swift rod is very good guys on catching stuff quickly. That is why it's really good for the magnet rod, because the magnet rod does get fishing crates pretty much, and you can pretty much just get in loads of crates quickly, which means you can get a lot of money. We now move on to the long enchant. So the long enchant does increase your line distance by 50%. This is pretty bad, not going to lie. It's literally useless guys, I'm going to be honest with you. You do not need a longer line in the game as of right now. You might need it in the future, but right now you don't need that. We now move on to the Ghastly Enchant. The Ghastly Enchant does give you, all fish have a 20% chance of being translucent. It's great all around, and it does increase your money by 20%. So pretty much if you've got a fish for 1000, it does add 20% to that, which is like 200, which is really cool guys. I'm going to lie, 20% extra money on 20% of the fish that you get is really good. We now move on to the Lucky Enchant. The Lucky Enchant does increase your luck by 20%. And apparently guys, the Divine Enchantment is like a lot more better than this, which makes this one pretty mid. So let's just move on to the Divine Enchant. So it does increase your luck by pretty much 50%. Not going to lie guys, increasing your luck by 50% is insane. So I highly rate this enchant. But we now move on to the Mutated Enchant. The Mutated Enchant does increase your mutation chance by 7%, which is good for farming because of a sell value pretty much. So if you get a Nessie or a Kraken with mutation chance, you are going to be a quadrillionaire. You're literally going to get so much money. But we now move on to the Unbreakable Enchant. So the Unbreakable Enchant is really good guys. It does increase the max kg by 10,000. If I'm going to be honest with you, it isn't really that good, because there's already rods out there that have high max kg. But it does say, it does go well with rods that lack max kg. But it does also, the cons of this guys is literally like most of the rods have like very high max kg, so it's pretty much useless. We now move on to the Steady Enchant. So this is very good guys on getting good fish, such as Nessie, the Kraken. Bigger the fish, harder the catches. So if you are pretty bad at the fishing minigame, I highly recommend you using the Steady Rod. We now move on to the Blessed Enchant. All of the fish caught have a 2% chance of being shiny or sparkling. Not really that good, 2% chance is pretty rare, so I don't really rate that. The Wormhole Enchant. All catches have a 45% chance to be from a random area, which is pretty good if you want to get 100% bestiary, I guess. I mean, it's pretty bad, not going to lie. It does make it hard to catch like specific fish, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I'm not a fan of this, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. Let's move on to Resilient Enchant. The resilient enchant does increase your resilience by 35%. This is one of the best enchants in the entire game for the destiny rod, because you always get good fish, but it's really hard to do the fishing minigame. I do not care if you guys are good at the fishing minigame, you need to get resilient, because it's almost impossible catching krakens, like, you can't even lie. So yeah, we now move on to the controlled enchant. This does increase your bar size, so it's great. It just helps you out on the fishing minigame, as you already know. We now got Storming. Storming does increase your luck by 100%. So you get double luck, but it only happens during rain. So you have to keep on buying Tempest tokens, which do cost like 2,000. And the consistent purchases of Tempest tokens is kind of a rip-off, if I'm not gonna lie, if you're not making profit. Breezed is even worse, guys, because the Breezed enchant does increase your luck by 65%, which is pretty bad, not even going to lie, guys. But now, what I'm gonna do is show you guys the Insight enchant. A lot of people sleep on this enchant, man. I'm not even joking. Let me tell you guys something. If you got this, actually, yeah, you know what? This is pretty bad, because if you could enchant crab cages, then you'll be good. But other than that, guys, I mean, no, it's pretty bad, guys. Like, it's good for leveling up, obviously, but you don't really need to level up, because there's a lot more better ways to level up in the game other than catching fish. You have crab cages. I did do a video on that. The Scrapper has a 60% chance. Okay, the Scrapper is sleeped on quite a lot. Whenever you use a bait, there's a 60% chance of a bait not being consumed. So if you're using a truffle worm, which is really hard to get, there's like a 60% chance of that truffle worm not being consumed, which is quite OP, not gonna lie. With also all of the enchants in the game, if I'm gonna be honest with you, the best ones, I think, in the entire game are gonna be Resilient, Controlled, as well as, let's have a look, guys, and Divine. Those are the best. All of the ones are pretty bad, not gonna lie. Hopefully this video helped you out, and peace out.